In the lively city of Accra, Ghana, where the sun rises early and the streets wake up with honking cars, shouting hawkers, and the sound of life. From this busy city comes a young man named Kwame Asante, the only son of one of Ghana's richest men, Mr. Nana Asante, owner of Asante Holdings Group. Kwame was 29, tall, with deep brown eyes, a clean-cut beard, and a calm presence that made people trust him without even knowing why. Even with all the money, fame, and women around him, Kwame had one painful problem. He had never been loved for who he truly was. He exhaled heavily one morning, sitting by the balcony of his father's mansion, overlooking their private garden. Why does it feel like everyone around me wants something? His voice was low, tired. His father, Nana Asante, walked in holding a cup of tea. "You look troubled, son." Kwame looked at him. "Dad, do you think someone can love me if I was just an ordinary guy?" Nana chuckled. "With your face and your heart? Yes, but not if you stay locked up in this golden cage." And just like that, an idea was born. The next week, Kwame made a decision that would change everything. He trimmed his hair low, wore cheap clothes, and even got a fake ID. He spoke to one of his loyal family drivers, Jacob. "Drop me off at the back gate of Asante Holdings. Today I start work as a security guard." Jacob's eyes widened. Boss? Are you serious?" Kwame smiled. "Serious like death, not a word to anyone." And that's how it began. He arrived at the company gate and met the head of security, a loud man named Uncle Joe, who eyed him up and down. "You say you want work here? You sabi hold baton? You get strength?" Kwame stood firm. "I'm ready to work, sir." Uncle Joe grunted. We go see." For the first time in his life, Kwame stood under the hot sun, sweating, greeting staff, opening gates, and sometimes getting insulted by angry drivers. But he didn't care. He was finally living among people who didn't know he was a billionaire. Days passed. Staff came and went, barely noticing him, until Amma showed up. Amma was different. She wasn't the richest, nor the loudest, but there was something about her eyes, sharp yet kind. She worked in the customer care unit, always walking fast, carrying files, and helping angry clients with a calm voice. Kwame noticed her immediately. One morning, as she rushed past him, her bag fell open and papers scattered. "Ah, I'm so clumsy," she said, bending to gather them. Kwame quickly joined her. "Don't worry. Let me help you." Their hands touched briefly. Amma looked up and smiled. "Thank you. What's your name?" He swallowed, trying not to sound too eager. "Kwame. I'm new here." She smiled again. "I'm Amma. You're very kind." From that day, something started. She began greeting him every morning. Sometimes she brought him small snacks, boiled groundnuts, roasted plantain, sachet water, and slowly they began talking. Really talking. Kwame laughed more when he was with her. He even started waiting for her at the gate just to catch a glimpse of her walking in. They spoke about their dreams, their fears, and surprisingly, even about love. One rainy evening, they stood together under the security post roof, waiting for the rain to stop. Amma hugged herself from the cold. Kwame noticed and took off his thin jacket. "Take this," he said, wrapping it over her shoulders. Amma looked at him. "You're too sweet for this world, Kwame." He chuckled nervously. "If you only knew." But Amma didn't know. She didn't know that the poor security guard she was beginning to like was actually the son of the CEO, and she had no idea that the person standing in front of her might soon break her heart with the truth. He was falling in love, but how long could he keep lying? The rain had stopped that night, but inside Kwame's heart, a new storm was forming. He stood by the window of his small rented room, the one he took to keep his identity hidden, watching water drip from the roof. "Chale, what if she finds out I lied?" he whispered to himself. His breath came slow, his chest heavy. What if she hates me after everything? Every day he spent pretending. The weight grew heavier. But every time he saw Amma, smiled at her, heard her laugh, it all felt worth it. Meanwhile, in the company, gossip had started. One day, while Amma and her friend Adwoa were having lunch in the staff canteen, Adwoa leaned close. "Amma, you dey craze smallo. You dey smile with that security guy like saying a boyfriend." Amma chuckled. "Ah, Adwoa, you two like gist. Kwame is sweet Jor. He's not like the rest of these guys. Flash their cars and lie. He's real." Adwoa rolled her eyes. "You want fall for poor man?" Amma sighed. "Maybe poor people are the only ones who love true. Rich people, they always come with wahala." Meanwhile, back at the gate, Kwame kept working hard. He helped people without asking for anything. When drivers shouted, he smiled. When staff threw trash near his feet, he picked it up. One afternoon, as he stood under the sun, Amma came outside with a bottle of cold water. "You've been standing all day," she said, handing it to him. "At least drink something cold." Kwame took it slowly. "Thank you," he said, his voice gentle. "You're the only one who sees me." Amma smiled. "That's because you're worth seeing." Her words hit deep. He wanted to grab her and confess everything, tell her he was a billionaire, that this was all a test, that he loved her. But he didn't. He was scared. Later that night, he visited Jacob, the family driver. "I can't do this anymore," he said, pacing the floor. "I want to tell her the truth." Jacob shook his head. "And then what? You go spoil everything? You don't even know if she go believe you? You think she go smile and clap for you?" Kwame slumped into a chair. "So what do I do?" Jacob looked at him. "If you really love her, then wait. Watch. See if her heart is clean. Then tell her." The next few weeks tested him. One morning, as he walked past the finance department, he saw a man shouting at Amma. It was Mr. Salorm, one of the arrogant supervisors. "You think you can talk to clients anyhow? You think you're better than everyone here?" Amma tried to explain. "Sir, I only told the client the truth." "Shut up," Salorm barked. Quam's fists clenched. He marched straight inside. "Sir, please, that's not the way to speak to a lady." Salorm turned, eyes wide. "Who gave you mouth? You're a gate boy. Stand outside and do your job." Kwame didn't move. "I may wear a uniform, but I'm still a human being. Amma doesn't deserve to be insulted." Amma looked at Kwame, her eyes glassy with tears. Salorm stormed off, angry. "You both will hear from me." Later that evening, Amma sat beside Kwame near the company's small garden behind the building. "I don't know what I did to deserve you in my life," she said softly. "Nobody has ever stood up for me like that." Kwame looked at her. "Amma?" She turned. "There's something I want to tell you." His heart raced. His palms sweated. This was the moment. But just before he could speak, her phone rang. "Sorry," she said, picking it up. "It's my mom." As she walked a few steps away to talk, Kwame sat back, staring at the moon. "God, help me." The next day, things changed. Salorm, embarrassed by what happened, reported Kwame to management. "That security guy is misbehaving. He's getting too friendly with staff." Uncle Joe called Kwame to the security office. "My guy, wettin' you dey do for here? You want to lose your job?" Kwame looked down. "I was only protecting someone." "I know," Uncle Joe said, softer now. "But these people up there, they no care about us. Just lay low. Don't make trouble." Kwame nodded. But he had already made trouble. One evening, as he walked home, someone followed him. It was Salorm. A black car pulled up beside him, and two men jumped out. Before he could understand what was happening, G-bam! A punch hit his face. Then another. "Warn your mouth," one man shouted. "Stay away from Amma." Then they drove off, leaving him bleeding on the ground. Amma found out the next day. She ran to the gate in tears. "Where's Kwame?" "Where is he?" Uncle Joe said quietly. "They beat him. He's not come to work today." Amma took a taxi to his area, asking Jacob for the address. She found him lying on a small mattress, his face bruised, but his eyes still warm. "Kwame," she cried, kneeling beside him. "What did they do to you?" He smiled through the pain. "Guess I really annoyed some people." She took his hand. "Why did you do all this for me? Why do you care so much?" Kwame took a deep breath. "Because, Amma, I think I'm in love with you." Amma's heart skipped. Her lips parted. I think I'm falling for you too." But just as their hands tightened together, a knock came at the door. Jacob entered, his face pale. "Boss, something dawn happen. Your papa day hospital, not stroke." Kwame froze. Amma turned to Jacob, confused. "Wait, papa?" Jacob's eyes widened. He realized he had said too much. Amma turned back to Kwame. "What does he mean by your papa? What's going on?" Kwame swallowed hard. The lie was cracking, and now everything was about to fall apart. The room went quiet. Amma's breathing became uneven as she stared at Kwame, waiting, demanding an answer. "Kwame, answer me," she said, her voice shaking. "What did he mean by your papa?" Kwame sat up slowly, even though his ribs ached. He looked at Jacob, who avoided his gaze completely. Then he turned to Amma. "I wanted to tell you," he whispered. "I really wanted to. I was just scared." Amma's brows furrowed. "Tell me what?" Kwame sighed deeply, his voice trembling. "Amma, my full name is Kwame Nana Asante Jr. I'm the only son of the CEO, your CEO, the one who owns this entire company." Ama's eyes widened. Wait, what are you saying? I'm not a security guard, he said, his eyes filled with guilt. I came here pretending to be one because I was tired of fake love. I wanted someone who would love me for who I am, not for my money or the cars or the name. Ama stood up slowly, backing away. So this has all been a lie? No, not all of it, he said quickly. Everything I said to you, every laugh, every smile, every moment we shared, that was real. I never meant to hurt you. Ama's hands were on her head now. Oh God, I can't believe this. She started pacing. I brought you food. I gave you water. I opened my heart to you thinking we were the same. Do you know what it means to feel seen by someone and then realize they've been wearing a mask all along? Kwame stood up, ignoring the pain in his body. Ama, please, I didn't come into your life to deceive you. I came because I'm broken. I needed something real. Ama stared at him with teary eyes. You should have trusted me enough to tell me the truth. I was going to, he said quickly. I swear. That night in the garden, I was ready to say it, but your phone rang. Ama shook her head. I don't know what to believe anymore. Jacob quietly stepped outside, sensing it was no longer his place to be there. Ama picked up her bag and turned to the door. I need time. Kwame's heart dropped. Ama, she paused. Her back was to him. I meant everything I said to you, Kwame. I wasn't faking anything. But maybe we're too different after all. And then she left. Kwame stood frozen in place. A few hours later, he arrived at the hospital to see his father. Mr. Nana Asante lay on the bed, one side of his face weak, his voice barely audible. Son, he whispered, I heard what you did. You lived like a common man. For love? Kwame nodded, his voice barely holding. I wanted to be sure. His father smiled faintly. You've always had more wisdom than me. Your mother would be proud. Please don't die, Kwame said, holding his hand tightly. I'm not ready to lose you. His father patted his hand softly. Then fix what is broken, son, before it's too late. But back at the office, the news had spread. One of the staff members had secretly taken a photo of Kwame in the hospital next to his father and posted it on WhatsApp status with the caption, This guy? The security guard? E be the CEO. Son-o. Within minutes, the whole building was buzzing. People whispered in corridors. Some apologized for how they treated him. Others laughed in embarrassment. Ama saw the message while at home, still battling the storm in her chest. Her phone rang. It was Adwoa. Chai, Ama. You no tell me your new guy in a billionaire, oh. You don't hammer! Ama sighed. Adwoa, this is not funny. Adwoa paused. Wait, you dey vex? I feel stupid, Adwoa. He lied to me. I gave him my trust. Her voice cracked. I even imagined a future. Adwoa was quiet for a second. But girl, you were happy with him before you knew he was rich? Abby, that means your feelings were real. Maybe his were too. Ama ended the call and sat still for a long time. Meanwhile, at the mansion, Kwame was spiraling. He couldn't eat. He couldn't sleep. All he could think of was Ama's eyes the moment he confessed. The pain, the betrayal. 3 days passed, then 4. On the 5th day, Jacob came to him with a paper bag. She sent this, he said. Kwame opened it. Inside was a small note and a roasted plantain. The same kind Ama used to bring him when he was at the gate. The note read, For the man who saw me, even when the world didn't, let's talk. Kwame jumped up. Jacob, start the car. They drove straight to a quiet cafe outside the city, the one they once talked about visiting together. Ama was already there, sitting by the window, sipping pineapple juice. Kwame walked in slowly, his heart thudding in his chest. Ama. She looked up. There was a long silence. Then she smiled softly. You still walk like a security guard. He laughed. Maybe that's who I really am. She stood and walked to him. You lied, but you also loved. He swallowed, and I still do. They looked at each other, eyes full of pain, eyes full of hope. Ama reached for his hand. This time, no more secrets? Kwame nodded. No more secrets. As they hugged, a man sitting at the corner took a picture of them and sent it to someone. A message followed. Boss, your plan no work. She's with him again. And far away in a sleek office, Salorm slammed his fist on the table. This girl is going to regret it. The love story wasn't over, but the war had just begun. Ama and Kwame were finally in a better place. They started seeing each other again, quietly, away from the company drama and the whispers. Kwame had officially resumed as the heir to the Nana Asante empire. Everyone now addressed him as Sir Kwame or Mr. Asante Jr. But even with all that, he never changed. He still helped the cleaner carry her mop bucket when no one was looking. still greeted the security men with that same wide smile, still drove the old Camry he used as a fake security guard whenever he was visiting Amma. And Amma? She was beginning to see the full man, flaws and all. She saw the pressure he carried, being the son of a legend, the expectations, the vultures, the betrayals, and it made her love him deeper. But peace doesn't last long when enemies are hiding in plain sight. Enter Salorm. He had been in the shadows, watching, waiting. Salorm was the company's senior strategy manager. Young, brilliant, always well-dressed, and obsessed with Amma. For months, he had tried to get her attention, bought her food, sent flowers, complimented her work, but Amma never gave him more than a polite smile. She once told Adwoa, "He's not my type. He always feels like he's trying to buy me." So when he saw her falling for a common security guard, he laughed, until he found out that common guard was the CEO's son. Salorm couldn't take it. "This girl embarrassed me," he said one night to his friend, banging the table at a club. "Me, Salorm Mensa, MBA from London, and she choose an undercover beggar?" So he began planning. He started collecting everything he could find on Ama, her HR file, her family background, even her old Facebook photos. Then one afternoon, he walked into the HR office with a fake smile. "Madam, please, I need some files for a confidential board audit." And just like that, he got her salary details, her leave records, and, most importantly, her mother's medical debts. Salorm grinned. "So, Amma's mother is sick, and the hospital is breathing down their neck for money?" He waited for the perfect time. Meanwhile, Amma was glowing. She and Kwame had started discussing the future, softly, carefully. "Do you think your dad will accept me?" she asked one night as they walked through the garden of the Nana Asante estate. Kwame smiled, rubbing her hand gently. "He already knows you. The way you cared for me when I was nobody. He said you reminded him of my mother." Amma blushed. "I just treated you the way I'd want someone to treat me." Kwame leaned in closer. "That's why I love you." Her heart skipped. "Say that again?" "I love you, Amma Mensama Ofori." She bit her lip, smiling shyly. "I love you too, my fake security guard." They both laughed softly. But that laughter didn't last long. The very next day, Amma was called into HR. "Please sit down," the HR manager said coldly, sliding a letter across the table. Amma opened it slowly. Her eyes widened. "Termination?" The manager adjusted her glasses. "It says here you were involved in inappropriate relations with a junior staff during office hours, which violates the company's ethics code. You're also being investigated for leaking confidential financial documents to outsiders." Amma's heart started pounding. "What? I never. Please, we suggest you clear your desk. Security will escort you out." The words echoed in her head. Security, escort, out. People were watching as she walked out of the building, tears blurring her eyes. It felt like a nightmare. Kwame was in a meeting when he heard. He stormed out, his face red with anger. "Where's she? Where is she?" Jacob ran up to him. "Boss, calm down. HR say she broke protocol." "I don't care what they said," Kwame shouted. "Nobody fires my woman without my permission." He grabbed his car keys and rushed to Amma's place. She was sitting on the steps outside her compound, her head in her hands. "Amma," he whispered. She looked up at him with puffy eyes. "They fired me, and the whole street now thinks I'm a thief." Kwame knelt beside her. "I'll fix this." "No," she said softly. "This is bigger than you think. Someone set me up, Kwame." He paused. "What do you mean?" She swallowed. "A few days ago, I started getting weird calls, someone asking for money, saying they knew about my mom's hospital bills. I didn't pay them any mind. But now, I feel like someone used that info to frame me." Kwame's mind started racing. And then he remembered, the one person who had access to confidential employee records, company finances, and a personal vendetta. "Salorm," he said coldly. Amma looked at him. "You think he did this?" Kwame's jaw clenched. "I know he did." That night, he hacked into the company's IT logs with the help of his tech friend. After hours of digging, they found it. A file download from HR servers to Salorm's personal email. Kwame smirked. Game over. But as he was printing the evidence, a bullet flew through his office window. Bang! He dropped to the ground as glass shattered everywhere. Sir, are you okay?" Jacob shouted, bursting into the room. Kwame crawled toward the sidewall, heart thumping. "Get me out of here. Now!" Whoever framed Amma was not just trying to ruin her life. They were trying to kill the truth. And this was no longer just about love. It was war. The night after the gunshot, Kwame sat silently in his father's private study. His shirt was stained with blood. Not his own, thankfully, but Jacob's. The bullet had grazed his assistant's shoulder. Amma was pacing back and forth, eyes swollen from tears, fists clenched with rage. "Enough is enough," she said through gritted teeth. "They've dragged my name, lied on my head, and now they're trying to kill you." Kwame nodded slowly. "We need to fight back, not just for us, but for every good person that has been stepped on in that company." His father, Nana Asante, walked into the room, his deep voice breaking the silence. "I warned you," he said, staring at Kwame. "Power is a dangerous thing when wolves are hungry, but now you must take the throne properly." Kwame stood up. "I'm ready." The next morning was war. Amma walked back into the company building, but this time not as a staff member, as a witness. Kwame walked beside her in a sharp navy suit, flanked by 2 lawyers, 2 private security men, and his father's longtime personal assistant. People stood still, whispering, "Ah, see Amma, she's back. Isn't that the guy they said she was messing with, so he's really the son?" Salorm was already in the boardroom, fidgeting. He tried to fake confidence. "Ah, Kwame, my guy. I heard there was an unfortunate situation yesterday." Kwame walked straight up to him and dropped a brown envelope on the table. "You'll address me properly. From now on, it's Mr. Asante Jr." Salorm chuckled nervously. "Heh, no vex. I was only—" "Save it," Kwame said coldly. "That envelope contains all your crimes, IP logs, emails, fake HR requests, the bribe you sent to that cleaner to lie on Amma, even the fake leak reports you cooked up." Salorm's smile faded. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Shut up!" Nana Asante's voice thundered from the back. Everyone turned. "You think you're clever, eh? You wanted to destroy her to punish my son? Now the company lawyers are here. Explain to them why you've been forging company documents." Salorm began sweating. "Sir, I swear, I only—" "Security," Kwame snapped. "Take him." The guards rushed forward. Salorm tried to run, but tripped over his chair. They grabbed him and dragged him out. Amma stood quietly, breathing hard, fists trembling. She still couldn't believe what just happened. Kwame turned to her. "You still okay?" he asked gently. She nodded slowly. I think so." "You don't have to work here again," he said softly. "In fact, you never have to work for anyone again. I'll give you anything." Amma shook her head with a weak smile. "All I want is to build something with you, not to be carried." Kwame smiled and touched her chin. "That's why you're the one." 3 weeks later, the sun was bright in Aburi. Birds chirped softly, and the smell of jollof and grilled chicken filled the air. Under a wide white canopy surrounded by family, friends, and a few former staff from the company, Amma and Kwame said, "I do." Amma wore a simple, elegant kente gown, her hair braided with gold pins. Kwame stood tall beside her in a traditional agbada, smiling like a man who had won the jackpot of life. As the pastor pronounced them husband and wife, people clapped and shouted with joy. Even Jacob, his shoulder still bandaged, was dancing like his life depended on it. Adwoa hugged Amma tightly. "Chale, from tears to testimony. God did." Amma laughed through tears. "It still feels like a dream." Kwame pulled her aside quietly. "Let's disappear after this. Go somewhere quiet, just us." Amma nodded. "Let's go where no one knows you're rich." Kwame smirked. "I'll bring the security uniform." They both laughed. Final scene. A young girl walks past a billboard in Accra. She sees a giant photo of Amma and Kwame holding hands beside a foundation logo, the Asante Ofori Foundation empowering the unheard. She turns to her friend. "Wait, wasn't that woman once fired and disgraced?" Her friend smiles. "Yeah, but she fought for love, and love fought back."
Fade out.
Moral of the story: never judge people by what they wear or what they own. The one you look down on today might be your king tomorrow. True love sees beyond the surface, and when 2 hearts are honest, no lie can break them. If you believe in real love, drop a comment and tell us, would you love someone if they had nothing? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to inspire someone today.